So, Father, another part of the Greek culture that a lot of people see is oftentimes people are spitting in church. It usually is elderly people spitting on youth, and it's to the likeness of ftou, and oftentimes occurring 3 times. And some people will say it's the Holy Trinity kind of thing, but it's often to ward off some kind of spirits. Is there any truth to this? Is it any part of Orthodoxy that is actually something that we should be looking into?
I know that I've seen it a number of times. Now, just so that everybody doesn't think that, everybody's dropping big loogies, on people, it's mostly like you said. It's mostly just like a sound. It's a p'tu, 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 something like that. And actually, this tradition is actually a Jewish tradition. It is a Greek tradition, and it's a Russian tradition. Typically, if the Jews do that, they'll do it twice. In our tradition, as you mentioned, 3 times for the sign of the Holy Trinity, we'll do it 3 times. Now, there's really nobody that knows what is the exact origin of this. One of the stories that came up is that because Christ performed some of his miracles using his own saliva, that there is a sacramental nature to saliva. But again, there's no proof of that. One of the big reasons that they'll do that, and why it's done in the Jewish tradition and why it's done in the Russian tradition, is really about this idea of warding off evil spirits. So Vaskania, Tomati, the evil eye, things like that. So it really centers around this idea of just trying to remove or protect that child against evil. So like I said, they're not really spitting on the child, they're just making that sound. Now, we have carried it into the Greek Orthodox faith because there is a part at the beginning of the baptismal service when we're back and we're performing the exorcism, and you'll actually hear the priest say, "Do you renounce Satan?" to the godparents, and then they say, "Yes, we do," and then I will say, "Then breathe upon him and spit." And the idea is the same thing, to ward off that evil now, both from the godparents and then also then from the child. So it's kind of interesting that we actually carry that over this ethnic tradition, and we carry it into then what is the actual baptismal service.
Are these spirits that need to be warded off in some way? And does this physical motion of ftou actually hold any power in warding them off?
It holds absolutely no power to ward anything off. It's just an action that is done. Now, that's not to diminish this idea of us being influenced by evil. We certainly, as Greek Orthodox, believe that we are influenced by evil. This is why in the pre-service handbook, there actually is a prayer for the removal of evil spirits. So there is the Vaskania, or the curse prayer to remove. Now, we don't believe that, people are witches or warlocks and they cast spells, but what we do believe is that presence can surround you and it can influence you. You as an individual have no ability to curse me. You have no power to curse me, but you can influence me in the way that I can become victim of those evil spirits. And so the only power that we have is those prayers that are said, the prayers that are said during baptism for the removal of those spirits, or if I come to a home and I ask that this home be blessed for the removal of evil spirits, that has certainly a grace and power. But the act of spitting itself is just a little bit of icing on the cake. It really has no power.